Hello again, it's just me. Who's me, you might ask? Hello, it's me. Alright, what I wanted to just say is that in addition to things that I put in my smoothies, this is a little mix that I make, and I put in 1 to 2 teaspoons to 1 to 2 tablespoons about 8 times out of 10 when I make up a smoothie or a drink. So what's in here, one might ask. Let me sit down for this one. So you have got a mix of greens. There's superpower greens that you can get from a health food store or from a shop. There's no way I would be getting one that isn't pesticide free, that isn't organic, basically because it defeats the purpose. If you've got pesticide that's being sprayed on your things, you don't know how people are treating it once they picked it. Sure, you could also argue that maybe some of the organic things are not organic like that they say, and you could very well be right, but I would dare say that given their reputation and how much legwork they have to go through just to get that legislation intact to be able to allow them to call it organic, I dare say that they would not screw around with that. So going past that for a minute, I use charcoal, which is something that picks up all the mineral deposits that your body doesn't need, basically. And if you're on chemicals, unless you're on continued chemicals, because it would defeat the purpose of continually pushing your body to filter things out, you either have to make a different decision not to be on so many chemicals, find a naturopath or a nutritionist to help you go in a different direction, or otherwise you wean off them or do something, but the charcoal will remove a lot of them. So if you're choosing not to do that, then just leave the charcoal out of it. And I'm happy to go back to that one later. So the type of charcoal that I use is coconut, and I'm happy to go into that one a little bit later too, because it's the most apt one for what I need it to do. So the other thing is in your superfoods, there is maca, which is particularly good for us females. So I would highly recommend that. That you can use ground up maca, which is really quite cheap when you think of it. And I use coconut charcoal, and I use wow, I can't remember the brand of the super greens organic one that I've got. It cost me about, I think it's $56, and it gives me quite a lot. It's lasted me for months and months. Obviously check the use by. The other thing, last of all, and the maca, and the last of all, but definitely not least, is that I use spirulina in it. And spirulina, look, it's a personal thing. There's a lot of people that swear by the properties of spirulina. It might not be that way for you. I'm happy to answer any questions if you wanted to get some advice on the things that I do know. I have been studying holistic medicine for about 25 years now, and I don't stop. It's not something I look up on Google. I've got many, many books. Sure, there's things I could look up on Google, but there's so much mishmash of information and misinformation on Google now, because you've got people that aren't even studying anything. Their version of study is to look up things on Google and to self-prescribe. And that's fine. If you're one of those people, then hang out with the other people who are like that too. But I don't have much validity or respect for that so much, I suppose, because it's not sound, it's not grounded stuff. It's just he said, she said stuff, and something that works for one person, apart from perhaps being a placebo, can also be a danger to somebody else. You know, where people randomly suggest something, or you look up some information on Google and one person might say ginseng. Like, for example, I used the tinctures of ginseng for a couple of weeks ago, and someone said, oh yeah, I used to take ginseng, blah blah blah, and I said, oh okay, what were you taking it for? And we had this great discussion about it. And ginseng it's a whole different subject, so I don't want to go off the beaten subject, but you know, it's good for some people, but it's absolutely horrendously harmful for other people. You know, if you've got high blood pressure, for example, you don't want to take ginseng, and particularly Korean ginseng, because it's not something that will work out well in your favor. And there's many other things, and coconut, you know, charcoal of any type might not be the best option for you either. And the superfood beetroot might not be the best one for other people either. And maca, if you're a male, it's pretty good at balancing out your hormones, but it's predominantly for females because it works more in the favor of female hormones. So the one that I'm suggesting, I'm saying take it with a pinch of salt. And if you want more advice or to know if that's specifically good for you, feel free to contact me, and I'll help you to the best of my ability. I do know a little bit, and I'm happy to share it. Preferably not when you're in the end stages of a disease, like I have many people who've approached me during it. So once again, yeah, just make up your own superfood blend, but be aware that just because they're a herb doesn't mean they're not science, and just because they are natural, and I say that loosely, doesn't mean that they are not more powerful, or at least as powerful as a lot of synthetic drugs. But holistic medicine tends to deal more with the cause rather than the symptoms. And once you're dealing with things on a symptomatic basis, you're not actually alleviating the problem that started. You're just alleviating the side effects from the problem that started. So you might not notice it as distinctly. So the problem could still continue. And so everything I look at has to be working with where did it start from? Why did it start? What happened in our bodies or in our minds to get us in that direction in the first place? And so all these things that I take and that I do in my life, and I do it so easily now because I've done it since I was 20 years old, or 21, since I started naturopathy. So it's not like something that I really give due consideration anymore. Although in saying that, there's a lot of things that have changed in my life, and so the things that apply to me now, the things that I would take, I would not take when I was younger, because they would not have been as relevant for me. For example, there are certain things that might have changed in my body makeup. Your biochemistry changes over the years because your amino acids change, the levels of your minerals and your vitamins might be different. Your lifestyle has exposed you to different things which wear down different things. You might have had illness which has changed the disposition of your body. You might have, there's aging factors. So your needs get stronger in some areas, and in other areas it defeats the purpose of having it. All these people take all these things for osteoporosis and stuff, or bones, and your bones stop developing when you're 25. So, the porosity of it changes. You can get more porous and more brittle. Anyway, I'm very good at going off the subject, so I'll just go back to this, shall I? So, looking back at this, my delicious bowl of goodies, I've just put 2 tablespoons into my smoothie, and I'm enjoying it. I will enjoy that more in a minute. So thank you for your time, and have a beautiful day.